Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Fernanda Iribe Gonzalez, and today I will be presenting you my research project, which was titled Improving Reading Comprehension in Sixth Grade English as a Foreign Language Students Through Interactive Strategies. This research project was conducted at the school where I work, which is Instituto Bilingüe Vida de Crolí. And the reason for this research topic was that during my teaching experience with sixth graders, which I've been teaching during the last 10 years, one of the things that I've noticed is that students struggle most is reading comprehension. When we have a reading comprehension quiz or when they use a digital app to read and answer quizzes, that's where the low grades are mostly appearing. So this is the reason why I decided to take this topic. The research focus is sixth grade students, a private school here in Culiacan, and these students have little or no exposure at all to English outside the classroom. It's very little the number of students that you find that tell you, I read in English or I watch movies in English, at least not where I am. I don't get a lot of those students. The problem here was that most students showed difficulty identifying main ideas, the overuse of translation. Whenever students had like a question about the reading or the test or what they were supposed to find, they wanted translation. They didn't want to understand the question in the language, but they wanted to translate it. And most of all, the low engagement in reading tasks. Okay, so my research questions were three. The diagnostic questions was what comprehension difficulties do students have? Action oriented, what happens when I implement interactive strategies? And the reflective one, how do my teaching choices affect motivation and comprehension? Okay, the strategies that I implemented during this research was predicting before reading, skimming and summarizing, and guided questions. Some of the interactive strategies were peer reading activities, group discussions, and some gamified quizzes with digital tools most of the times. And also the program that we use here at eVold is a digital program. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's Notion. So most of our quizzes or games are digital. Okay. For this research project, I collected the next evidence. I took a teacher journal reflection, which I filled in every time that I had or that I implemented an activity with my students. The observation checklist was the same every time I implemented an activity. I finished the activity and I tried to fill it in the moment because I felt that filling it like after the class, you forget some of the details that happen. And the students' work samples. As you can see, some of them were digital. Like I was telling you, we work with a digital program. Okay. At the end, the key findings of this research project were higher engagement. Students participated more when I implemented interactive strategies. When I say interactive strategies, I refer to the gamified activities or the games and the quizzes, but also trying to get their attention to the reading. Okay, the comprehension did improve as I implemented the activities. They had a better identification of the main idea and details, and students required modeling and guidance, so they needed some scaffolding. So at the end, I found that engagement plus strategy instruction gave a better comprehension when it came to reading. The impact on teaching and students. This project had an important impact both on my students and on my own teaching practice. Students became more confident, participated more actively, and relied less on translation tools. As a teacher, I became more aware of how instructional design affects comprehension and motivation. So I could realize the importance of modeling strategies clearly and creating opportunities for collaboration and reflection. I think this experience also helped me become more intentional and reflective in my teaching decisions. Moving forward, in the future, I plan to continue using interactive reading strategies and incorporate more self assessment activities to promote learner autonomy too, which I think is very important for students to realize and understand where they are. I also want to continue helping my students strengthen the inferencing and critical reading skills. And this project encouraged me to continue exploring how strategy-based instruction can also support long-term reading development in the classroom. Okay, so I plan to continue with this in my classroom, and some questions that I could have for myself in the long term would be, how can students become independent readings in the long term? Because it's very difficult for I think it's a very difficult thing to get them to be independent readers. And how can I measure the progress more quantitative? Like Ingrid was saying, I think that time was really something here because, well, in my case, I don't have experience with research projects that much either. And I think that the time that I worked in a research project, I was very, very young. It wasn't even in an educational area. So it was different because I was working with numbers only, not with people or students. So I think that with this experience, we do have like the basis to continue researching and to focus more on this, because I think it's very important for us to check what our students need and what we could improve with time. So this was my research project. I don't know if you guys have any questions at this time about what I implemented or anything. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Fernanda. Anyone who would like to start with a comment or question? Okay, Cristobal, go ahead.
Okay, Fernanda, congratulations for the project, research project. That was very interesting to learn from you. And I know that teaching sixth graders is a kind of challenging because of and even the topic that you chose is about the readings. When we know that the students don't like read as well, okay? So first thing it is they need the motivation to read. And now I'm curious about if you are thinking about using like digital tools or apps just to they keep like motivating and reading and they can improve in that area.
Well, like I was saying, yes, I think digital apps do help improve their readings, but sometimes the digital apps, for example, we work with Notion at school, and I think it has a very high level for students. So some of the struggle or most of the struggle came from the difficulty of the reading levels. Okay, the vocabulary sometimes is not really appropriate for the age and for their level actually. So I think that I would continue using digital uh, tools, but I think it has to be more like personalized or created or adapted to the students, not the ones that are pre-designed, because I think that's the problem here. Okay, the level that things are designed with, as we were mentioning before with a CLIL, it happens to me all the time. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's great. So congratulations again.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Exactly here, right? The point, reading is like not the problem as the activity reading, because many students read in Spanish, but here is like this is their interest. For example, my son has been reading since he was 4. He loves reading, but he reads special books. I have a lot of books from my older son, like Harry Potter and things,
Oh,
Disney. So he hates these books. So this is a torture for him. But when I buy the books that he asked me, and I don't know, the Amazon, like something that he really wants to read. So he started in the first grade. He already knew how to read because it was pandemic. So he was 4, and I taught him to read, how to read at home. So he was 6, and he was reading really thick books. So not like short text. And he read those books maybe like 3 times, and he keeps repeating reading the same books. So my idea was, books that or stories that they really would enjoy reading. And if they already read them in Spanish and put them into English, that would be a great idea. So as you
yes.
said, we need to check their needs, their interests, and maybe adjusting like that would actually work to have and answer your question that you have for yourself for the long term. Yeah,
Yes,
teaching
because
them, putting
no,
their favorite text into English, and now taking the AI tool. Um,
it's easier.
Yeah, so you can just take a picture and ask AI to translate into English, and you can practice English reading the same text that you read in Spanish. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that would give
that's
them
an
a lot of
idea.
vocabulary too. Because one of the things that when I implemented like the activities here was that if you got to interest the kids in the reading that they were gonna do, their understanding of it was a lot faster. Okay, they were more motivated to read and to find the information. Or if the activity was like draw instead of write what you found here, they would also get more engaged in the activity, and you could actually see what they understood in the drawing, which was most of the text, which contrasts a lot to when you get them to write the ideas, because they also need to practice a lot of writing. I know it's another area for research, but in this case, when it
Yeah.
came to reading, well, it was like getting them to get engaged with the topic, and then giving them activities that didn't involve a lot of writing. That would make it better for them.
Okay. I have just another question. Maybe I missed or I didn't hear that part. You plan to find out using your diagnostic question, what kind of, if I'm not mistaken, was that the question? You can correct me.
Mhm.
What types of comprehension questions they had difficulties? Did you find out that? Like
Oh,
the specific
when it came
question?
to finding the main idea, and when it comes to finding supporting details in a specific reading, that is what they had what they struggled more with. Okay, so when it came to that, well, first we had to read an infographic about the main idea, what it is, okay? And reading along as a group helped them like have a better understanding of that. Or how are you going to look for the main idea? What is the author trying to tell you? That's what they
Okay.
struggle more. Main idea, and then the supporting details for that main idea. They kind of confused and think that the main idea and the supporting details of a text are the same thing, but it's not.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else has a question, guys? Or we continue? Or we have a comment? Ingrid, go ahead.
Yes, I have a comment, and also congratulations. It's something difficult, but I would like to ask and comment. Do you think it has to be or is related also because nowadays not everybody likes to read, and it's something that they can feel like obligatory, and they may feel that it's something just to be done in the school. because that might happen more in the grade that you are saying, like sixth grade, if they are not used to read to actually enjoy the time that is a hobby or something just to spend free time. That might be
Yeah.
difficult because I have seen that reading is becoming one of the skills that goes that is going down every
Yes, it's
day
getting
because we
lost.
tend not to read because of all the media that we have, all the devices, and we have everything like immediately and with visuals. So that may be something also. You think that that's something that has to go with the idea that they weren't able to understand because they weren't used to do it in their native language?
I think, yes, that's what I think, that reading comprehension is something that is getting lost, not only as a second language, but also as a first language. For example, in Spanish, kids can read, and we see that we listen to this like in every sete. I don't know if you guys go into setes, but when it comes to like, oh, what's the problem that we have to focus on this year? Oh, reading comprehension, and I don't know, math, right? But it's the same in Spanish, which is their first language, and as a consequence, it's going to be more difficult for them to have this ability in English. Um, and yes, I think that this motivation is one of the key reasons for students not to understand or not to want to read. Okay, so trying to get their attention, or tell them, hey, look, let's talk about this topic. Did you know what happened during this time in history or something? I think that just that getting them motivated and wanting them to learn is the key in reading comprehension or in reading in general. But it is something that is getting very, very lost. And I think if there is no reading comprehension, well, you won't be able to learn a lot of things, right? Because you can't solve math problems if you don't have reading comprehension. You can't do anything if you don't really understand what you're reading. So yes, the use of devices, having everything that is audible. For example, in this program, when students are like in first grade, we have a digital library in Notion, and they can listen to the stories. So kids are not going to struggle into trying to read when they can listen to the story, right? And then answer the questions. So, yes.
Thank you.
All right,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you very much.